Hi, I'm Steve. Welcome to my shop. Several years ago, I did several videos on making these bow front jewelry boxes. This one is left over, but on this one I showed you how I did a ring holder in this box. And this ring holder, I'll leave a link up here somewhere up there. But in this, for this ring holder, I use this pink rigid foam and a router table, and cut some grooves and glued some crushed velvet or velour over this foam, and then I glued these sides on. And I never really liked that because that foam was so rigid that it was hard to put rings in and out. So I've been batching out a bunch of jewelry boxes. This is Peruvian walnut, leopard wood with cocobolo pulls and hard maple slides, and you'll note that I did change my method of joinery, but I've changed up the ring pillow or ring holder, and it's a much softer, it's an open cell foam. So I thought I'd share with you how I make this new and improved ring holder for a jewelry box, because I'm going to replace this one. This is very hard, and I'm going to salvage the sides of this. And let's get to how I do this. So the things that I use, I've got this open cell foam, and actually this is packing material out of, I think this came from how my CNC was packed. But I just can't seem to throw anything away, so I said, oh, I might be able to use this someday. Well, I found a use for it. So, the length here is 97. And I'll just take my scalpel with a square on the foam. Try not to compress the foam, you want it as square as you can. And I just like to take several passes, and this one will be all the way through. And I ran out of depth there, so very easy to cut this open cell foam. So this is for the depth of my drawer. Now I need to cut it to width, so I want 65 millimeters, and I'm pretty sure that's what this mark is. You may not be able to see it here, but I've made a mark there. I'll just align the edge of my foam to my underlayment marking cutting board. Actually, I really want it that square is a little bit awkward. And I am just going to align my rule to that mark just by eye. Doesn't have to be exact. I want to cut all the way through. And if it's not perfectly square, that's fine. Okay, I've done some math here. Nominally on the other drawers I had 15 millimeters between the front and the back, and 25 millimeters between each slot. Now fortunately with this you don't have to account for kerfs, but what I'm going to do here is mark this. Probably need to get a finer pen. And I figured out that this is roughly 11 from each end. And I'll just mark these 11 millimeters from each end, and then I'm going to make these, set this on 25 and go 1. That will give me 4 slots. I'll mark these. Now when I did the full production run, I did not mark each individual one. I marked the board, and then I aligned this to the board. If you use an X-Acto knife, or in this case a scalpel, just make sure you have a very sharp blade. And I just like to align my ruler there along that line. And I want to cut not quite all the way through this. I want to leave roughly 3 millimeters not cut. or 1/8 of an inch not cut through the bottom, and I'll just take several passes here. And actually I can use the rim of this fairly close just to, as kind of a depth stop. This is a Mortensen Swan or something like that. Try to keep it square. Okay, now that my pieces are apart, you can see how much I've left. Wasn't real concerned. I just didn't want to go all the way through and provide enough support here to take this thing down and assemble it. So now what I'm going to do is just kind of start at the back in the middle with this tape and try to keep this aligned such that when I wrap, and I'm going to wrap this all the way around. So this is pressure sensitive tape. And here's the point where I like to do this. Now I've got support on the back here, so if I break all the way through it, and actually it probably will break, at least it did on the other ones, where you can actually get almost all the way down to the tape. Now this one's not breaking completely all the way through. I suppose I could cut a little more of that now that I got support. You see I got all the way to the tape here, and now I press that back into place and then go around to the next slot. And if it doesn't break, you can just go all the way through. I don't know that you have to, but it's just easier to install the tape. You can go all the way down to the bottom. If you compress it like I just did there, put it off and then you're good. Keep compressing that foam, I don't want to. It looks like I'm kind of running off the edge here just a little bit. That's okay, I'll turn that away. This piece of foam is a little thicker than what I did before because I did not have to cut these on the earlier run. And with this one, I'm just going to the, either cut with scissors or utility knife. I'm going to choose this duller X-Acto knife. And press this tape down. This is pressure sensitive, so you want to make sure it's adhered as well to your foam as possible. Okay, I've cut my fabric, and now I'm just going to start from the back. I'm going to start unpeeling this and try to keep this as straight as I can. I did make my fabric a little wider than what I needed. I'll just try to keep this overhanging on each edge. I need to straight up here. So we'll try it this way. Okay. Yeah, that'll blow off with an air gun later. And then I'll just start peeling this or folding this fabric around and get it to that point where the first slot is. And what I found that works well for me is don't pull that packing tape or the liner tape off, liner layer off, whatever it is, because otherwise the tape will stick to itself and you'll never get it apart. And that one I may not have cut all the way through. And just start folding this around, trying to keep the fabric as straight and wrinkle free as possible. And fold that back, pull the tape out.
It's right there, I think.
And then I'll trim away the excess fabric. And then take a nice pair of sharp scissors, and what I like to do is come in here, can kind of compress the foam and just trim all of these flush with the foam, all those folds flush with the foam.
And
What I like to do is use a fray check, and this is Dritz fray check. Thing I found amusing about this is it says do not smoke and do not put in eyes. So it's a pretty sad state of affairs when the human race has to take fray check with warnings like that on labels. And what I'll do is I'll just go around the back. Now this thing will bleed the color, so be careful where you put this down.
go across the edges and just fray check on these. Okay, just lower the fray check. You watch that? Oh yeah, I see it on the phone. It's all the phone. That's what I do now. Okay.
And because this is will bleed, don't ask me how I know, because I've stained another work surface with this nice purple. And I'll just set that on that tape and let that cure. I'll probably let that go for about a half hour, then come back and trim any excess threads, and then we'll attach these slides. So any excess threads I'll just kind of trim off, and it shouldn't fray anymore. Don't have to get them all, but that's now in the trash. So I've got the hot glue gun all heated up, and my work pieces here. And what I'm going to do now is similar to what I did before. I'm going to apply these. I'll apply this to the wood. Cleaned all the old glue off.
Press this. Wrong place.
Now I have a much softer ring holder than this rigid foam. This one I can depress it, and it'll spring back somewhat, but this will spring all the way back. So that's my new method for making a ring pillow or a ring holder for this. And unfortunately, this is a different lot of fabric, so it doesn't exactly match the purple that was there before. So anyway, that's my new method for making a ring holder, and that one's in the trash. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.